What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review. Thank you so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel. This is where I talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that I love to talk about: movies, video games, comic books, TV shows. And right now I'd like to do another comic review. And this comic review is going to be on Punchline #1. I do believe this is a one-shot, but I've heard that there's a chance that this will be spinning off into an ongoing sometime in 2021. But I do believe this one is just a one-shot. It wasn't really a very good book, to be honest with you. It was an interesting origin story for Punchline, and that's kind of how this book opens, is with her origin story. She's out on a field trip, and they're at a news station, and they walk into the Joker taking over the news, and he chooses her. He chooses her, and he tells a joke, but he never got to the punchline. And that's where her origin story comes in. She became fascinated, she became obsessed, she became infatuated. She got to the point where she wanted to know what the punchline was. And it got to the point where she was going to go out and do evil stuff to try to figure out what Joker's punchline was. And all that was really interesting as far as the origin story goes, but then we get into some more like modern stuff with Punchline. Like, when I say modern, I mean like it's caught up to real time, to where we're just after the Joker War. And that's where this kind of becomes a mess. It gets into a lot of exposition. I'm talking about, let's look at this page alone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's 18 boxes of dialogue. Not spoken dialogue. 18 boxes of dialogue that strictly have exposition. And then the very next page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is a big splash page with 10 boxes of exposition dialogue. There's a lot of story here. And the problem is that it's really not very good story. There is a connection here with Bluebird that I'm sure they're going to be exploring later on. There's a breakout story where the Joker is able to get Punchline out of jail. And we catch up to Punchline and Joker reuniting. And there's actually the art in this is nothing to write home about, but there's a really nice piece of art towards the end of the book that was really reminiscent of Joker and Harley. And I know that some people look at Punchline as a bit of a Harley Quinn ripoff. Some people look at Punchline as, well, you made Harley a hero, so we've got to create a new character now to be the, Joker's bad guy girl. I have no problem with them creating new characters. No problem at all. And Punchline may end up being an interesting character. Right now, she's not that interesting, but she might end up being interesting. We don't know. But all that being said, this book didn't really go anywhere. It told the origin story. It told kind of what was going on with her after the Joker War. And it kind of set up an arc, maybe with Bluebird. I think it's going to set that up. And then nothing really happened. This book is not worth the $5 that you need to pay to read it. Unless you're just a completist who you're like, well, Punchline is hot right now. I want to have this book. I need to go get it. If you're strictly a story person like I am, this might not be worth the money for you. That being said, it did have the origin story, and that's important to some people to understand where their characters come from. For me, I found it to be a little long and a little boring, and it's not a book I'm going to be revisiting a whole lot. So, that's my take on it. What was your take on Punchline #1? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And as always, thank you so much for joining me right here at the LQ Review, where we get to talk about all the geeky, nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.